Star Wars Rebels in the Name of the Rebellion, part Caesar.
The words you're looking for? Thank you. We appreciate this.
Thank you.
Then you have to take control of your
Have
destiny.
your destiny.
Yeah, like when we hit the Empire hard on Mandalore.
I heard about that.
Look, Sabine is with it too.
I need your help. You need our help? This is radio station. I recently acquired intel on a secret Imperial cargo being loaded aboard a civilian freighter there. I just saved your lives.
So what you're saying is that we owe you?
Your choice. You can go back to Rebel Command and run Mon Mothma's errands, or you can help me do something that might actually matter.
That's really, really interesting right there. I wonder if Saw
Sorry, Chopper. You're out.
found out what mission they were going on
No rebels yet.
and purposely intervened so he could get Sabine and Ezra to help him. Love the look of that U-wing, man. This looks awesome.
Are you sure we're at the right place? This looks like a civilian cargo facility.
Uh-oh.
I don't see any signs of the Empire at all.
That's what they want everyone to think. Hiding it in plain sight. Take us in. Merchant platform.
I love Two Tubes too. He looks awesome.
You're back.
Ooh, okay. Stormtrooper.
Imperial troops aboard a civilian freighter? You might be onto something after all.
They're guarding something.
Okay, Saw. I ain't mad at you. But it's still civilians on there.
Here it is. Cargo Bay 17.
Careful, or you'll alert the whole ship.
You got a plan?
I gotta draw it.
What was that? Move along, droid.
Ooh, Chopper. Ooh.
Keep watch, Chopper.
I think it's this one.
Find out what they're hiding.
Oh no.
Oh,
Prisoners.
Why are you here? What do you know about the cargo aboard this vessel?
Nothing about any cargo, but I did overhear some troopers talking about the Jeddah system. If there's any special cargo, it probably came
the
from
Jeddah system.
The Jeddah system, huh? Who are you?
Name's Mitch Matt. Was a supervising tech on Coruscant's central power generator. Empire tried to hire me away for some secret project, but I didn't feed my family. So they just took
Oh,
me.
Power.
okay.
Mission. Everyone here is a reactor mechanic or power specialist of some kind.
Freeze! Don't!
Who let you out? Where are the guards who are stationed here? Huh? Surprise!
It's the rebels! Got that right.
Stop, wait!
Jump! Get them to the escape pods. We'll take out the hyperdrive.
Ezra, engine room is this way.
Purgles.
Do you hear that? It's like a song.
Purgles.
It's coming from
It's the
there.
Purgles.
Can you get us in?
That's why I'm here, right?
Unless, now, if that's coming from what I think it's coming from, that's going to be awesome. Oh. Ooh, Death Troopers. Now that's awesome. Death Troopers guarding this. That's awesome. Getting deep.
Thank you. You're a very kind little droid.
He said, I don't know about that. I'm telling you, I can understand Chopper. Uh-oh.
36, I said take cover.
Saw.
The block's been compromised. Cease fire! Fall back!
One of them got away.
Forget it. We found it.
Oh. Now, we saw this in the previews, or I saw a clip of this shot right here, so I know what this is actually.
No, it can't be.
So this is what he was hearing. I thought it was the whales.
Sync, like the one in my lightsaber did when I found it.
These crystals store and amplify energy.
Ezra could hear, he would, the crystal was calling to Ezra. How awesome is that?
Rebels led by Saw Gerrera have breached Hold
Ooh.
6 and taken possession of the cargo. Alert Director Krennic and Imperial
Director Krennic. Director Krennic. Connection.
No security personnel.
They're trying to harness the power of this thing. That's why they have the techs. To weaponize it.
We gotta stop the ship and get the prisoners.
Now that's crazy that Saw knew that
We need
much.
this cargo to reach its destination. We need to find out what the Empire's building.
We can't take the chance the Empire will get this crystal back.
You're right about that too.
You stay here and guard this thing. We'll head to the engine room and stop the ship.
Saw's gonna do something else. Saw's gonna take off.
We better hurry or the Empire's gonna figure out what we're
Saw's gonna take off with that crystal. Woo!
Okay, there's the hyperdrive over.
Use the force,
Prepping to drop
Ezra.
the ship on
Use
the
the
hyperdrive.
force.
3,
I like it.
2,
Oh shoot! What? Saw.
oh,
I've come too far to give up the quest. I must learn the secrets of my enemy. And today, I will.
Oh, it's gone. I told you he was gonna take off with it.
I've retaken Hold 6, Captain. The cargo is gone. Gone. Commander, if anything happens to that crystal, It's both our heads. Where are the rebels? I don't know, but we've lost contact with the engine room.
We're going to the Thomas sector. Dock at the hatch.
Shoot.
Starboard engines. I'll meet you.
Ezra, wake up. Your friend turned on us.
Saw, you shot me.
Let's be more precise. I stunned you.
You betrayed. Why did you bring the crystal in here, Saw?
It's like you said. We can't allow it to remain in the Empire's hands. Coming out of hyperspace. This is it.
No, you're not.
I hope this was.
No, you're not there. They're not gonna take you there. Like she said, they're gonna have reinforcements waiting. They know what happened. And you guys are screwed off.
It's only a Star Destroyer. The Empire's big secret isn't here.
It has to be here. It has to be.
No, it's not. You guys are in trouble.
Rebel vessel
Oh shoot.
ceasefire. We can't risk hitting the freighter with the crystal on board.
We're right here. Are you coming?
And leave the prisoners?
This is war, Ezra.
What about doing what's right? Isn't that what this war is about?
What is right? Let me ask you this. What would you do to save your world? It's too late.
He just hit Ezra.
My world is gone. My world
He
is
just hit Ezra right here.
I want you. That's your choice, Ezra. But I suggest you hurry. Because this is what I am meant to do.
What are you doing?
You said these crystals can become
Saw using the saber. Dang. And it's gonna destroy that ship.
You're turning it into a bomb?
I won't let the Empire use it, so you better get off this ship.
Stop! Let us out of here!
Last chance, Ezra.
You fight your war, we'll fight ours.
Farewell, friend. I hope we meet again.
That, why did that sound like a woman?
Stop this? No, it'll just keep absorbing power until it discharges.
Whew.
We don't want to be anywhere close when that happens. It's don't be long.
Never mind that. Call Hera and tell her we're in the Thomas sector.
Oh, no way. How is Hera going to show up in time?
Then jam all communications and get the prisoners to that shuttle.
What shut?
This droid is crosswise.
That was awesome. Did he headbutt him?
Prisoners. They're trying to commandeer the shuttle.
You guys need that shuttle. That was awesome. I thought the helmet was gonna come off. He's gonna damage the shuttle.
Scans are picking up a massive energy.
Hang on.
You gotta get out of there, man.
What are you doing?
No time for hyperspace. I'm putting that Star Destroyer between us and that crystal.
Isn't that the commander? Where is she going?
Sir, we're getting a large energy reading. Something is going critical mass.
You gotta get out of there. Woo! Uh-oh, uh-oh. Whoa. They're out of power.
Great. The engines are fried. We're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Hera.
Or maybe we are.
What do they do now?
Those two can't go anywhere without blowing something up. I don't like the sound of this kyber crystal. It's the second one we prevented the Empire from getting their hands on.
Saw seem convinced that they're trying to weaponize it somehow. Is that even possible?
At that scale, I don't know.
What if Saw's right?
What do you mean it is impossible? It just blew up a ship.
Most of the Rebel Alliance doesn't
It just was used as a weapon. It was used as a bomb just now. It's very much possible. Cool. All right. So, an absolutely awesome episode, two-part episode that we got here, guys. And I did write down some notes, so we're going to go right into our review here. So I'm going to start with episode 1. Obviously, out of episode 1, in the name of the rebellion, we got a great confrontation between Mon Mothma and Saw. Between their two different ways of approaching this war with the Empire. And of course, this whole two-part episode was strictly based upon that, the two ideologies and how they conflict with each other. But the thing about this is neither side is completely wrong or completely right. And that's the funny thing about war. You want to keep some type of civilness to yourself. You want to be. You don't want to kill civilians. You don't want to kill prisoners who are surrendering. There are rules of engagement when it comes to war. But in Saw's view, there is no rules to war. there are no rules to engagement. You have the two differences in their approach to this war, and as we saw in this particular episode, this episode, the two ideologies kind of clashed when Ezra wanted to save the civilians, and Saw was like, "Well, the civilians are not the priority here. My mission is the priority, and my priority is to find out what they want to use this crystal for. How are they going to try and weaponize this weapon? I mean, the crystal." So very cool, and I love the subject matter for this two-part episode. And as we saw in the first episode, Ezra was questioning some of the moves that the rebellion was making. He definitely wanted to destroy the dish there, and I forget exactly what it does, but I think it helps the Empire track their movements, and they wanted to not necessarily destroy it, but kind of sabotage it, so it make it easier for them to get around without being detected. And now, of course, Ezra wanted to destroy it. He wants to hurt the Empire. Even Hera said that she wants to hurt the Empire for what they did to her crew on that run that they were on. As you see, they suffered some losses and took on some heavy damage with their Y-wings, which were absolutely cool. I love that particular shot right there, guys. Again, the rebellion is struggling with these two ideologies and the two different ideals for their approach to this war, and it's really good to see this conflict within the rebellion. This isn't something that we've been exposed to, except for the exception of Rogue One. It's really good to get more of that here in Star Wars Rebels. So very, very cool. As we saw at the end of the first episode, Saw kind of intervenes with the mission and takes it upon himself to actually destroy that particular dish, which goes against what the rebellion was trying to do. And then, in a way, he kind of kidnaps Ezra and Sabine, which is really, really interesting because it got me to thinking. I wonder if Saw was kind of following them, listening in on what the rebellion was trying to do, and he decided to intervene so he can actually pick up Ezra and Sabine and use them for his mission that he went on in the second episode. So they never really revealed that here, but it seems the one thing with Saw is he has his own agenda, much like our friend Hondo. But Saw is a ruthless version of Hondo. Hondo is all about himself and whatever he can get out of anybody. Well, Saw is all about getting to the Empire, destroying the Empire, anyone who is in the way. There are what is it called? Casualties of war that are it's just a part of war to him. He is kind of a Hondo type character to the fifth power. He's ruthless and will cut anyone down who stands in his way of getting to his mission. So very, very cool, and I love that dynamic there. And I think what we're also going to see in this season is a similar relationship that Ezra had with Hondo. I think we're going to see that relationship with him and Saw here. Someone that he knows can't be trusted, but he is going to eventually trust him again in some type of capacity, or be forced to trust him in some type of capacity. So I think that's going to be a recurring theme in this new season. So look out for that as the season goes on. So as we get into the second episode, as we saw, Saw has a mission of his own, and he's asking Sabine and Ezra to partake in this mission to find out what it is that the Empire is carrying, and why are they being so secretive. And he has intel that lets him know that it's being boarded on this cargo ship, and so they basically sneak upon the cargo ship and attempt to find out what this secret cargo is. In doing so, they run into some civilians who they later find out are tech savvy, or they're techs. They have knowledge. Of course, that raises some red flags with Saw and Sabine and Ezra. One key mention that we got here is the Judea system, which is really, really cool. Apparently, that is where this particular crystal came from. One of the civilians overheard this from the guard, so very cool mention there. We also got a mention of Krennic, tell Director Krennic, what happened. So very, very cool. We got our Rogue One connection here. And I know a lot of the fans were cramming for a connection between Rebels and Rogue One. So we are getting little tidbits of that, and that's really, really cool. And then, of course, we have Saw turning his back on Ezra and Sabine in order to find out where this particular crystal was headed to. Now, one of the things that I'm surprised Saw didn't realize is that once they started taking down stormtroopers and engaged the Death Troopers, the Empire was alerted to their presence. So why would they continue to bring this crystal to, if it's the Death Star that they're bringing the crystal to, why would they still bring that cargo to the Death Star? They would direct it to some oblivious area, as they did, and have a fleet of troopers waiting for them, as Saw being the tactician that he's supposed to be. I'm surprised that he didn't realize that the mission was already compromised the minute that they engaged the Death Troopers, and the Empire was alerted to their presence, and there would be no way that they would bring them to where they were building this weapon, this secretive weapon. So that surprised me a bit that Saw wasn't onto that. Really, really good episode. I really enjoyed this episode. Of course, this most definitely moves the narrative forward in all aspects. We got some great mentions here with the Judea system. We got Director Krennic in there again. So very, very cool episode. I really, really enjoyed this episode, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and score this episode. I'm going to give this episode a 9.5 out of 10, simply because, again, because it is a two-part episode, we're getting more detail in these particular storylines, kind of similar to what they did with the Clone Wars. You would see these particular arcs carry on for 2, maybe 3 or 4 different episodes. And so you got a lot of detail and backstory on everything that was going on. So here, now Rebels is kind of giving us that hour-long episode that we've all been craving. There are a lot of us have been wanting hour-long episodes, so we've kind of gotten that with the first 4 episodes of this particular season. And I'm really, really enjoying this because we are getting more detail with each story that we're getting. So really, really cool. And I'm really enjoying this season. And that's why the first 2 episodes have scored so high, because we are getting more detail in these story arcs. So really, really cool, guys. But obviously the question here is, what are your thoughts about this episode? Do you have any predictions for what is going to happen going forward with Star Wars Rebels? At this particular time, I don't want to make any predictions. I still want to get my thoughts together before I make any predictions, other than the fact that we are going to see a relationship between Ezra and Saw, kind of similar to Ezra and Hondo's relationship, kind of like a friendship, but one that is not full of trust, basically. And I think we're going to see that with Saw and Ezra. Really, really cool, guys. But again, please put those thoughts and any questions or statements that you have in regards to this episode. Are you enjoying the first 2 episodes of this season? Put those comments down below. Please like and subscribe. And guys, I will catch you on the next reaction to Star Wars Rebels.